Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Natty Scene. It is me and wonky-eyed George this evening. He's
I'm
got
trying actually to get these to sit. They're not sitting at all, these, tonight.
turn your head
Yeah,
there.
that'll do.
Yeah,
I might
so
have to
he's
just do it like this, innit?
got
Walk around like this.
the world's worst blue light blockers on his face, and desperately needs an RA Optics discount code. So if anyone is
Yeah,
listening from RA Optics and wants to give the Natty Scene a discount code, we'll happily take one. We're not really asking for one, but we'll happily take one because George can sort of
absolutely.
look like less of a construction site worker in these updates. Um,
Yeah.
but but yeah, so this week it's back to me and George. So for anyone that's concerned with the algorithm that we're following on these podcasts, it's going to be a pattern of one with a guest, then back to me and George, then back to a guest, back to me and George. So we've got some cool guests lined up for the next sort of couple, 2 to 3 podcasts. And we're going to be bringing on some people that have done really, really well this year in natural bodybuilding. And then hopefully throughout next year, we're going to start to bring on people that are going to do well. And we'll talk about their preps and what they do differently and things like that. So it's going to be cool. It's going to bring it back to basically what it was before, but having two natty minds at play until George is not natty anymore, and then you have to throw off the podcast.
Yeah, literally.
I just watched that video actually that you put up. I haven't finished watching it, but I've watched most of it. I watched the bit when you sat down in your garden or whatever, and you talked about the dirty dark side.
Yeah, and mate, honestly, I'm looking for the comments. Yeah, I obviously get the good stuff, but that never sticks to you. It's always the negativity, and I've had so much negativity. People coming to me saying, "You've got shit genetics, you this, you're that. This is the worst decision you're ever gonna make. I hope it goes wrong." I'm seeing some crazy bad. I'm thinking, Christ, like, relax a little bit, you know? Like, this is my decision, my thing. I don't ask you to watch my videos. I really don't. And
No,
it's just, I don't get like, if I don't like someone, I won't watch them. I've never commented anything negative ever. I
no.
just simply won't watch it. But people out there just like want to bash me all the time, and I think, why bother watch? Like, why bother watching me if you're just gonna slate me? And I don't know if you've seen any of my Instagram. I just mentioned that it got to me tonight because
Yeah.
my missus isn't here right now. I haven't really got no one to talk to, and it just kind of got to me. Like, normally I'm quite strong with that side of things,
Sure.
and I just brush it off. But after a while, when you see comments every single day, and I mean every single day, it
Yeah.
starts to fucking weigh you down a little bit, mate. Not gonna lie to you, but I don't want to keep it miserable and all that. I want to be
Ah,
positive.
mate. I think people
Um,
appreciate when we open up and talk about things that aren't necessarily sunshine and fucking rainbows all the time. Like, it's all good saying, "Oh, my week was perfect," blah 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 blah. Because it's not like that. Like, even for the people like behind the scenes who put up a front on Instagram saying everything's perfect, so their lives aren't perfect, and if anything, sometimes they're far from it, just because they're putting up that front half the time. That everything is amazing. But in terms of my opinion on it, mate, like, reality is, like, half the people commenting just don't understand bodybuilding. And the reality is there's actually a lot of IFBB pros that didn't ever have the best genetics, and they've just got there on what you have, which is work ethic. Like, I'd get it if you didn't have the work ethic and people were commenting, "Why are you doing this? You don't have the work ethic." 100%, I'd be like, "Yeah, okay, cool. What a fucking stupid idea." And I'd be really trying. I've worked with people. I don't have many on my books at the moment, but I've worked with people that just, I would say, why on God's earth are you looking to go down that route? Because they can barely adhere to a diet. They can barely adhere to steps, cardio, or anything like that. And you're a robot when it comes to that, mate. So, eventually going down that route, you will get what you want. I'm pretty fucking confident of it, to be honest. It's just a matter
I
of
appreciate
time.
that.
Effort always gets rewarded, mate.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's just, sometimes it's just, yeah, ignore it, fuck them and all that. But it's sometimes really hard to do. It really is. It
Yeah,
really, really is. But no, I appreciate that. It means a lot. It
yeah,
does. Should we
understand.
dive into how weeks have been? Let's start off with yourself.
Okay,
How
sure.
was your week been?
Yeah. So, yeah, been a pretty standard week, to be honest, for myself, apart from the fact that today we picked up a dog. So,
Yeah.
got Barney as the new member of the family. I'd get him on the camera, but he literally has just gone to sleep, and we've spent the last hour and a half trying to like calm him down because he's been just like running about. He is toilet trained, but at the old place that he was sort of being breeded at. So he doesn't know where the door is. He doesn't know how to get out. So he's peed on the floor like a few times and all the regular things that a puppy does. But he won't harm a fly. He's so sort of like kind and just loving. And it's going to make a big difference, I think, to like just day-to-day life, because it's good having a little dog around. It will be a big dog soon, but it's good to have like something around that you can sort of, you know, have conversations with, and you know, you feel like you're talking to someone when they're not replying, but you know, when they know you well and you know each other well, you can kind of feel like you're having a conversation with a pet. So, and that's something that I've really, really missed. And you know, I had a Westie from like the age of I think 11 or 12 up until I think he lived about 11 years. He passed away. He passed away about the middle point of my prep. Actually, no. He passed away I think before my birthday in 2017. So that was really rubbish. And then we got obviously Dougie, who's a Labradoodle. Got him in 2017 later on, and he was in a lot of my check-in photos when I was pretty close to shows and things like that. He was a puppy when I was going through the sort of the final phase of prep, which is a bit annoying, to be honest, because like when you'd want to bond with a puppy, I was done, and I was all like out of the house all day, and you know, he wasn't old enough to come on walks, and by the point in that prep I was out power walking, so I'd been dragging him around like a little dog. So and unfortunately I bonded with him quite a bit, but not enough as I should have done, really. And my mum was looking after him the majority of the time. And then obviously when mum passed away, no one really could look after him that much. So we actually gave Dougie to a next door neighbour really close to us. So ever since then, I haven't had a dog. That was mega painful. Like, I don't think I ever discussed that. I don't think I ever did. Because
no, I didn't know that myself.
No, quite frankly, I was actually kind of, I must admit, the honest feeling that I felt when that happened was I felt really guilty. I felt a bit embarrassed as well, because I was like, fucking hell, like can't even like take care of a dog. But the reality was, like, at that time, it was just me and my dad living at home. And, you know, he was a very difficult dog by that stage. He bonded so much with my mum. He was like becoming very resilient to us. Not in a harmful way, but in a way that, you know, it was very hard to get him to behave. So he thought, you know, the best option was to give him to some people that basically knew dogs inside out, had, I think, one or two other dogs that he could get on with. And I haven't seen him that much, but my dad sees him occasionally, because he's literally like just round the corner. And my dad sees him occasionally, and he's a super happy dog, like going on holidays with them and stuff, like they go caravanning and stuff. So he's having a much, much better life, which is massively important. Like, it makes me feel a lot better that he's doing that. But yeah, at the time it was very disappointing, to be honest. But yeah, so dog is in the building, and going to be cool during prep, because by the time we're in the prep stage when we're doing like lots of steps, he'll be a big boy and he'll be wanting to come with us all the time. So that'll be fun. The rest of the week, in terms of training, I went up to Prophecy Gym on, was that Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday.
How was that?
Maybe it was Monday. It was all right, mate. It was all right. So like, you walked in and it's sort of a bit like, it's basically a lot smaller than Ultraflex, and it's on, like, you have cardio upstairs in sort of a very like weird sort of like locked away area up the top, like normal amounts of cardio equipment, nothing crazy, but you can't see the gym from the cardio equipment. So if you were like doing steps or doing treadmill or doing stairs or something, all you'd see was like just a small TV. Like, I wouldn't see the gym. I like, when I'm doing steps, to see people training, because it's way more interesting than just like looking at my phone. I love watching people train, or like seeing the environment of the gym. And that's what I love about Ultraflex, is that the treadmills are all lined up at the top. So when you're warming up, like doing the treadmill or whatever, you can see like, I can see like Cuba pulling over there, and like, you know, someone doing something in the corner, like pressing. It's like, it's really, really good. It gets your mind in gear. So that was a bit meh. So if anyone's looking to design a gym, get the cardio up the top so you can see the shit. And kit wise, we did legs, and it probably wasn't the best option to train legs there. So I blame Christian for that. And it was like the leg extension and the leg curl from Arsenal Strength were fucking appalling. Like, they were so bad. Like, some of this Arsenal Strength stuff is not good. Like, to the point where we sat on the leg extension and the range of motion, or the resistance profile, should I say, was like no tension at the bottom. So you couldn't feel anything at all. And then as soon as you came into the mid-range, you'd hit like fucking sand or like concrete. So it wouldn't move at all. And then because of where the seat was positioned, you could barely like get full sort of like, you know, like a full on 90-degree angle to like lock out and contract your quad. And by the time you got there anyway, the load was absurdly heavy. So you could barely even get like a full contraction. And then in the stretch position, you're getting nothing because there's no load there. So it made no sense. And I was like setting it up well and everything. And, you know, Christian's just like a very strong leg extender. Like he can, I think he can do like, you know, I do the top level of the prime leg extension. I do that stacked.
Yeah.
You can do 2 fucking full rows stacked on a leg extension. It's a very strong leg extender. Hence why he's got awful knees. So yeah, like a leg extension and the leg curl weren't great. The hack squat. Have you tried the Arsenal Strength hack squat before?
I have. Yeah, I fucking hated it.
That's what
I fucking hated it.
That's what I said to him. He was like, "Oh, we'll do the hack." I was like, "Oh, fucking hell, here we go," because it's a pile of shit, isn't it? Like the
you literally bang the bottom, don't you?
Yeah.
Bang. The amount of times I used to bang the bottom, I was like, Christ, it's throwing me right off. It sounds cheap as well. Like that hit on the floor just sounds like you're about to break or something.
Does it off when you bang the bottom?
Yeah, it does. It throws me off so much. I just think, what's the point? Oh,
what's the point of banging the bottom? Yeah. If you only just fucking got that. Oh dear.
Yeah, I have. A bit slow tonight.
Yeah, fucking hell. So yeah, it's like the pins. So when I was warming up and I did bang the bottom, I was like, Chris, like, can we set the pins any lower? And you can't. So you can barely get sort of below parallel. So what we did is we looked at Hollingshead's videos to see where he had the sled, like the foot position, because you can change it massively. So Hollingshead had it quite high. So we put it like pretty high. We got a little bit more knee flexion than we had earlier in the warm-ups. And then we reverse banded it so that Christian could be safe with his knee. And he just basically like, he rinsed into me about eccentric control, because I have a habit of like, from back squatting, I have a habit of just like getting into the hole and trying to get the fuck out. So we did like 3-second eccentrics with the reverse band, and that actually felt really, really good. After the session, I could say like categorically, I was like, okay, I've really, really hammered my quads, as opposed to some sessions where I like bomb dive it a little bit. Sometimes I'll come out of the session and be like, maybe haven't stimulated my quads as well as I could have done, kind of thing. Not that my form's ever awful, but maybe I could have a little bit more eccentric control than I have at the moment. Maybe that would like stave off some niggles as well. So something learnt there. Leg press. Have you tried the Arsenal Strength leg press?
I don't think I have. No, I haven't.
No. That was all right. So they had 2 there. They had sort of their single leg one and the dual leg one. So we did the dual leg, and it was pretty good. Felt all right and felt pretty smooth. Didn't have any issues with the range. Could get really, really deep actually, to be honest, with the way the pad was curved. You'd probably get like balls deep on it, because you can get balls deep on like a hammer strength one, which a lot of people can't do. Your like ankle mobility is mad, and hip mobility is really, really good. Yeah. And then what else did we do? We did a vertical leg press, which was all right from Arsenal Strength. Like crazy like hamstring stretch though. Felt like it's going to tear your hamstring off. I don't know where you felt that on vertical leg presses, where it feels like your hamstring's going to go ping.
I felt loads of my hips. Really, just. I think obviously foot placement and all that take that into consideration, but it just it just feels ugly. Just
Yeah.
feels really, really ugly, that.
Yeah, I'm not
But a good movement when done right.
yeah, I don't know how much I'll be able to load it up if I really went for it, kind of thing. I know JP is like a huge fan of vertical leg pressing. Like, it's like, if you've got one, do it. But I'm like, fuck me. Like, if I loaded that up, I'd need like some pretty good spotters to be able to take it all the way there, because I'd be fucking scared of really getting pinned underneath it. The Arsenal strength adductor and abductor is probably one of the best I've ever used, though, and I've used a lot of adductors. I've used like Nautilus, I've used a Cybex Eagle one, I've used the Life Fitness ones. This was probably one of the best in terms of actual like connection with the movement and being able to progress it, because I was only at 3/4 of the stack for a rest pause set, and on most adductors it's just like, oh, okay, straight to the stack then, which is just a bit of a pain in the arse, really, for anyone that's remotely adductors.
That's how I injured myself.
Yeah,
on the adductor, the other fucking just getting in the position and just ping my hamstring. That did the other week, which is annoying. So yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so that was good. It was like a 2-hour drive there, 2-hour drive back, and training legs like wasn't the best for recovery, as you.
No, definitely not.
But yeah, like like the rest of the week is training wise, it's been such and such, like highs and lows. Push was probably like one of the best workouts I've had in quite a while, and I rated it like 11 or 12 out of 10. I think, the session where just everything feels good, you feel good, the focus is good, the pump's good, everything was good about that session. And I didn't hit like crazy PBs, but I hit some like really, really good numbers and touched some new weights, so to speak. Because I felt like in the mood just to like put a bit of extra on the bar, kind of thing. And that was the day I called out that Rainer trainer boy, and so I was a bit angry, and that got all a bit out of hand, to be honest. Like some people sent him some horrible messages, and I was like, look, I'll just delete some of the ones that are pissing off people, because some people were sending him like horrible shit, and like at the end of the day, like I thought, what he's doing behind people's backs and being like derogative and like demeanoring about people and like calling out people indirectly is rude. So I thought, like, I want to sort of let people know what he's doing. And Jordan did eventually find the post, as you saw. I showed you what he said. I think actually Jordan made a smart decision, because he told me he removed the comment afterwards. And I was like, to be fair, it's probably a bit smart, because like at the end of the day, it's like running a business, and like, it's probably not the best to call people pricks. And then just to see what happens. But yeah, when you're calling out people and like you're gonna get hurt by someone at some point. But yeah, we went a little bit too far with some people saying shit. But yeah, and then deadlifts were just a bit meh, and when deadlifts are meh, the whole session is ruined for me, to be honest. So
save it.
Like, for some reason at the moment, like, I don't know about you, but there's some times with the deadlift where I just can't get my start position right. Like wherever I am on the floor, it just doesn't feel like I'm in the right place. And my upper back either rounds, or my hips feel tight and I just can't sink them right. And then other times when you warm up, you're like, fucking hell, this is going perfectly. Like, everything feels on the money. I can pull big today. And I've not had a single deadlift session like that for a while. And I talked afterwards with Cuba, and he was like, like, you probably need to either start giving yourself more rest between sessions, or just like you're gonna have to pull out the squat, or you're gonna have to pull out the deadlift. Like, you can't do both now. You're getting like 200 kilos for reps on both. You're not going to be able to do both at the same time. So it's sort of like I'm going to have to make that decision now as to which I really sort of lay my focus on. So that's fine. I'm obviously for now I want to focus on, I think, the deadlift, because I can replace the squat with plenty of like other movements that kind of mimic it, that do the same thing, and that actually save me a lot of like neurological and sort of systemic fatigue. Like, the moment, like all the time I spend putting on the fucking Romaleos, putting on my knee sleeves, putting on my belts, like I'm spent, like, mate, honestly, a squat session, an hour of that session is just squats. I'm like this is crazy amount of time in the gym for one movement. So tomorrow I'm training legs with Danny, and I'm gonna see what she needs to do. But I'm thinking of either doing the hack or the Smith, and just seeing how I get on with either one of those. I've seen Cuba do the Smith recently, and it looks nice. It looks like good with the heel. We got all the wedges, the squat wedges. So I can just use one of those, keep my Vibrams on, strength shop knee sleeves, and just see what I can get on the Smith. I think stimulus wise, be able to probably even get a better stimulus, as I'm not having to worry about stabilizing the bar, which is probably ruining my nervous system a little bit. As you know, you will, or you are kind of experiencing in your own training a little bit. We're gonna have to rejig your programming at some point, because George's lower back loading is absolutely like it's at the
that's what I'm starting to notice now, that like right now, like I did the barbell HP yesterday and my lower back is still not recovered, and I've got deadlifts tomorrow as well, and it's just not. I've noticed with me, so the first kind of 6 to 8 weeks I've been in the off season, everything was flying. You know, 10 kilos added to some particular movements, 5 kilos on like a pressing movement, which is rare. Now I'm getting to a point of where like this week has probably been my worst week of training in terms of progression, recovering. Like my legs are not recovering as well as what they used to. I'm sore in my lower back side of things, and weight's just not progressing as well. Like you've probably seen that I tried to do the 60 kilo OHP the other day.
Yeah, you tried
I tried it twice because I wanted to get it, and like the week before that I was doing 57.5 for a set of 6 or 7, and I thought, right, this time I can get at least maybe a triple, maybe 4, and I didn't even get it once. And then I go and drop the weight down to 55, and then I get like 8 or 9, and that was like a PB. I haven't done that in this run yet, and it's just really frustrating. But I'm definitely running into especially I've reintroduced the barbell row now, so that's more lower back load than I did yesterday. And then I'm deadlifted down, still not recovered. I'm definitely gonna have to rejiggle a few things now, because I'm picking up a few knocks, little injuries and stuff. And I don't want to be that guy that just fights through it and want to be a hardcore bodybuilder, because I've tried to do that in the past and it just bites you on the arse. I want to be that smart individual now where I say, look, right, this is going wrong now. I'm going to make the change instead of just fighting through and pretending that it's all okay. So we'll speak about that for sure. But yeah, I'm noticing that especially this week in terms of my training, it's like either stalling or some regressions, or just I know that something needs to change. And I know, especially with today, I noticed on some particular movements, especially because I know we were in a competition with the narrow grip dumbbell press. I did the 42s today, and I just lack that stability which those 42s require. And I know that the food that we've introduced this week, I know just a little bit more body weight and it will just feel a lot more better. But right now I'm going through a phase of where I'm lifting some weights and it just requires a little bit more cushion around those areas to make it feel a little bit more better. Even with the squat, I know I just need a little bit more cushion in places and it'll just feel absolutely money, because still to this day, my upper body, especially around like my delts and my traps, it's fatiguing. I'm just sitting there holding on to this bar like in life because my upper back is fatiguing before my legs.
You can see it immediately when you walk it out. You can see the difference between someone who walks out a barbell who's heavy and like has stability to someone that is not and is quite lean. Like when you walk it out, it just looks like it's fucking all over the place. And you just can't lock in and stabilize that bar. It's not your fault. It's just you don't have enough sort of body fat there, really. And like you said, cushioning is a very good way to put it. You just don't have enough of that at the moment.
Yeah. I know that will come with time. I'm not stressed out too much on some particular movements, but I'm now getting to the point of where I'm getting stronger and I want to focus on particular stuff. But I know like tomorrow, if I wake up sore, my lower back sore, then, you know, I'm not going to set myself up well for this deadlift session tomorrow, which, you know, I'm already thinking about days and days ago. You know, you think about, especially with the deadlift, you think about it like I'll be dreaming about it tonight.
Mate, I know it's bad though, isn't it? It's just so bad. But I think about it as well, like so much. Like I'm thinking about whether I'm smithing or hacking tomorrow, and I'm thinking about both. I'm like, what would I do if I hacked? What would I do if I smithed? And it plays on your mind a lot, and I find that when you know that it's there, like you know that the preparation for the session is there, and everything's in line, it's perfect, and you feel good, and you know the warm-up's going to feel good. Those are the sessions which make you the most nervous, because you know you've got to capitalize on that day, because those days don't often come around that often where everything is perfect, and the pressure on those days is sometimes quite overwhelming, and it's like, especially deadlift when it's quite technical at the bottom.
Do you ever think about it too much to the point where it just takes away, like,
yes,
like for me, I sometimes think about too much that I actually get too nervous and I've just ruined like the whole set.
Yeah.
And then there's me trying to think, like, I did that a couple of weeks ago with a deadlift that I completely fucked up my top set, and I was like, right, I'm just going to take like 20 seconds rest, and I went straight back into it and got an extra 2 reps just to make up for it. And I was like, and I finished it, I was like, why the fuck did I do that? Because I've just buried myself completely just by overthinking it, overcomplicating it, getting nervous, and then not getting what I want, then taking a little breather and then going back into it like 20, 30 seconds later, where I've just fried myself completely. Yeah, it's the worst. I think sometimes we just overthink it, and I should just go into the session, just get it done. Because like sometimes I'm spending, like you mentioned about with the squatting, like warming up, I'm spending like 45 minutes, 50 minutes just on a deadlift movement. And I'm thinking, do I really need to spend this long deadlifting? Like, see other people in the gym, they just fly, they've done like 4 or 5 movements and I'm still on the same movement. And I'm thinking, do I really need to invest this much time into a deadlift?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know.
This is this whole sort of argument, like stimulus versus fatigue. And it's a real thing. Like, you're not just building up like nervous system fatigue and muscular fatigue when you're doing a movement, but you're building up neurological fatigue because you're in the gym for longer, you're in that sympathetic driven state for longer. The more we start thinking about these movements, the more we start stressing about whether we're going to pull big, the more we start thinking about whether we're going to squat big. What do you think you're doing? What axis do you think you're activating when you're in that position in your mind? It's a sympathetic driven state. And if you're thinking, like, I had one client, this is a true story, who couldn't sleep at all, like had ridiculous insomnia. And I knew what kind of personality he was. So I was like, what are you doing before bed? And like, what are you thinking about? Like, what's going on in your head? And he was like, oh, I'm just thinking about like the next session. And I think that's what's disturbing my sleep. I was like, no shit. You're just like, you're never stimulating your parasympathetic branch of your autonomic nervous system. You're just so sympathetically driven. And that's why, his resting heart rate's higher, his blood pressure's higher, everything that sort of settles you down for a good night of sleep is not there. And to the degree of how you think about it is going to influence the quality of your rest and your recovery. So I think as bodybuilders, you probably being able to flick that switch a little bit more into that sort of relaxed state is going to be pretty pivotal for you to be able to progress these big moves. And I've always thought about it, like I've always thought about trying to ask like powerlifters, like how do you manage to control this sort of like external stimulus of thinking about your lifts? Because their whole sport is numbers driven. If they don't pull a number, they don't win. And I think what our mindsets as bodybuilders with these big lifts is starting to switch towards, like, if I don't pull a number, I'm not going to have a good back, which is crazy pressure on yourself. Rightfully so. Some of these movements do offer bang for the buck, but sometimes it's a little too much.
Yeah, and this is the only movement that I do it with. I don't do it with any other movement at all. I don't think.
No.
Maybe sometimes with a squat.
Yeah.
But with the deadlift, it is literally just so much stuff runs through my head. I remember on prep as well, the Cybex hack. That was one when I had to. Sometimes I would sit there for about 20 minutes, having to kind of psych myself up to go and do that.
Yeah.
And especially when you're in prep, I was like, because I know it was going to absolutely bury me. And I just sat, and I got to the point where I'm just sitting here and I'm just overcomplicating things in my head, and I should have just gone in, done it, got off, moved on,
Sure.
and not worried about it too much. But the way I was just thinking and worrying about it too much took away from the enjoyment of doing it, and just upset about dropping numbers,
Sure.
really. And I knew it was going to happen. So yeah, it's
I
quite
think
ridiculous that.
one of my tips, if someone is listening to this, one of our 2 listeners,
Which would be you.
yeah, is to sort of think about trying to rationalize what's going to happen in your next day before you go to bed. So like thinking about doing a bit of journaling and just like writing down some things in a notepad or on a whiteboard. I find it especially important when I've got a lot on the next day, like when I've got a lot of different tasks to do, especially if it involves like going in and out of the house and picking up things, or, you know, doing this or that appointment, this appointment, that. Like just planning out your day in the notes section of your laptop or your phone, or on just a notepad, helps massively. Because then you go to bed without all of these things in your head. So even if it's like the fact that you just want to deadlift something off the floor, like write down deadlift this off the floor, to like, and then just put it in your to-do list. And then once it's in your to-do list, like just forget about it, and then just start the process of thinking about it about an hour out from your session. Like when you're an hour out from your session, you actually want to start stimulating that sympathetic drive. You don't want to be stimulating it like 24 hours before, because you'll just conk yourself out big time. So, and also like I sometimes find that the best sessions are those where you don't necessarily go in with a crazy expectation. You just think, okay, I'm just deadlifting today, and you just sort of like take the pressure away a little bit, think less about the numbers, and just pull because you enjoy it, just deadlift because you enjoy it. And I think sometimes they end up being a better session. But
that's one thing which I forget about is remember why you train as well. Of course you want to build muscle, but I enjoy training as well, and that's why I sometimes forget, like, I'm here to enjoy myself. I'm here to kind of express, you know, myself as well.
Yes.
And how much I can lift or whatever it may be. And sometimes, yeah, like I really do just generally forget that, like, if I miss a rep or miss something, it's not the end of the world, but in my mind, it is the end of the world.
Yeah,
really.
Sure.
When the session, like the other week, I didn't get what I wanted on deadlifts. I determined, like, the session's already done for me. Like, I know it weren't going to be anywhere above a 6 or a 7. Just from that one set that fucked me over.
I put the session rating in the book after the deadlifts.
Yeah. Why do we do that?
Why? The rest of the session I progressed everything.
Yeah, that was the exact same as me, pretty much. And just that one set, I was like, nah, 6 out of 7.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I was just putting the note, deadlift shit.
Yeah, literally waste of time.
The rest of the session just doesn't count.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very, very difficult. Anyway, moving on to sort of like away from training a little bit, how's things with nutrition on your end at the moment? I know that last week was a pretty decent week in terms of, I think you only had like 1 meal out or something. So how are things?
Yeah.
How are things now? Are you feeling like less food focused and stuff?
Yeah. So each week I'm getting better. The food focus is there, but I can manage it a lot more better than what I was doing previously. Like within like the first couple of weeks post show, you know, I was having something pretty much every day, not crazy amounts, but I was having just something a little every single day. And then it slowly kind of tailed off to maybe 3 times a week, 4 times a week, down to like 1 or 2. And now, like, I'm just at 1. And I'm not bothered if I don't have anything at all. And that's just, I knew that would come with time, because what I do is I get bored of it. I do that with cardio. I do that with output in general. So post show, I knew I ate a little bit more. What I'd do next day is I would just do a little bit more. Normally it would be a little bit more output, just to kind of compensate. I wouldn't reduce my food because I was very food focused. But eventually, each and every week, I was just thinking, I can't be bothered to just go on a Stairmaster for 20 minutes. What's the point? I can't be bothered to go out and do 20,000 steps. Same with kind of now food. I like, it just doesn't bother me as much. Yes, you give me a burger, I'll absolutely smash it, whatever. But I'm not, oh my God, I need one now, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just got a lot more better now. And I'm just sticking to, right, if I do have something off plan, that's fine. I don't need to have it like what I had before. Is I need to have this. I need to satisfy myself. But if I do have that meal off plan, then I'm fine with it. It's no issue at all now, if that makes sense. So it's slowly but surely getting better. I knew that I would run into issues before because I have done that before, like post diets, what I've done in the past. I've kind of ate a little bit more and kind of done this yo-yo sort of effect. And I did tell you that. I was like, mate, I'm going to be eating off plan. And I know that that I'd have been doing more cardio, more output and in general. But right now I'm in a position where I'm quite content with what I'm doing. And I knew it'd just take a little bit of time, and I know I just get bored of that quite easily and just move on from it. So yeah, all in a good spot with nutrition. Obviously, we added 25 gram of carbs and 10 fat on a train day, didn't we?
Yeah, it was only a small change, but enough to bring calories up a little bit, and also give you a little bit more room with the fats, because they were quite low on a training day for a while. I think were they 50 for a while at training days?
Yeah, 50.
Yeah,
especially when you're having like 525 gram of carbs.
Low fats as well. Low fats for sure.
Fats are quite low. And I'm not like, I know some people are quite scared to go over like 50 grams on a training day, but I'm not. I'm not bothered about having a higher fat intake on a training day at all. I'm quite content with that. It works quite well with me. I still feel quite good. I don't like when fats are really low, you just feel awful.
Oh, awful. Yeah, especially when you are lean and fats are low, you feel even worse. I think the lowest I went was like 25, and I did that for like 2 or 3 days. Wow. Like, no, I can't hack it. It's my ability to function was just completely gone. I just couldn't do anything for some reason. It seemed to just switch off my any sort of like neurotransmitter in my brain, and I just couldn't do anything. And I felt like every meal I ate, I was like hypoglycemic. It was just, the reaction was awful, because obviously every meal, because of the trace fats from carbohydrates, every meal was basically just trace fats. Trace fats and carbs were, decently high. And when you're very lean, you're very insulin sensitive. It's just like this sort of rebound effect every meal. And I just felt so shit. Just an extra little bit of fat here and there, especially in the pre-workout meal, goes such a long way. Really, really does.
For sure, definitely.
Weird question on fat actually is, like, obviously with your fats being pretty low, like for the majority of the prep, when you came out of the show, and also like in the sort of the stage in which you were lean and pretty food focused, were you craving foods that typically were much higher fat? Like, were you craving fattier foods, or did you just crave just sort of sugary foods? What were you more craving at the time?
In all honesty, probably more of the fattier, the more saturated fat, the more grease, bit more of that, a bit of dirt, instead of like the sugary side of things. Because when I finished prep, I was still on like 3,000 calories, so I wasn't eating poverty calories at all. But I just wanted that dense bit of grease going into my body almost.
Yeah.
If that's how I can word it. But no, definitely the fat side of things.
Yeah, it's really
what I wanted.
It's really interesting that, because like I was kind of the same. Definitely in one of my preps, I remember I was like just craving like weird things like cheese and chocolate and like just anything that wasn't in my current diet, because I think my body was just like, you need a little bit more dietary fat here, bud. Like, get some more in. But I think sort of 2017 prep, and your next prep will probably be even more like this, but I was like, I knew what to expect. So the food focus was just generally lower, and I didn't have as much sort of, quote unquote cravings. Obviously I wanted more, but I think during that prep, I just was like more craving more food of the same things I was having, because I knew that would translate into more energy. And the thing that I was like craving the most was just the energy. But one thing that I actually do miss about prep, I'm not sure how much your pattern has changed, but my sleeping pattern, like right now, I just don't like it. I don't like the way that I sleep, because I go to bed quite late out of just being tired enough to go to sleep. And I wake up like sort of 8 a.m. I don't really like waking up at 8 a.m. I'd rather wake up at 6 or 7 and I've always loved the idea, and I'm sure you're the same, but I've always loved the idea of like doing loads of stuff before people have even woken up. I love being ahead of the game. I fucking love that feeling. When I wake up at 8, honestly, deep down, I feel fucking lazy as shit. And it gets my day off to like a start that I don't like. Like, I'd rather be up at like, you know, Thorburn time and, you know, doing this, doing that. But like, one, I don't have a reason to because I'm not doing cardio at 4:30. Sorry, Jack. But I'm also like, I just no disrespect to anyone, but I can't get up at that time. Like, my body just doesn't wake me up at that time. Something that I loved about prep was your body's like an absolute machine. Like, wakes up on time, and your sleep's not the best quality towards the end, but middle part of prep, you wake up on time, you get up, you know, you start your day off with something that's, you know, for you, like steps or cardio, and you feel like you're starting on a high straight away. And I'm looking forward to that. I kind of miss that. Has your pattern changed already, do you think? Like, are you getting up sort of later, or are you still in quite a good routine? Like, what's your routine like at the moment?
Yeah, so obviously when I was on prep, I was getting up at about 6, 5:30 some days, go and do my cardio, and now I'm getting up. It's got, like I said, like this morning I actually got up at 7, which was very rare for me. I'm getting up at 8.
Yeah.
I don't even set an alarm right now. I wake up at 8. And I feel like fuck. Like, sometimes when I wake, have you ever woken up and you think fuck, you're like rushing about, you're panicking, you think, I don't really actually need to do much because I can do it throughout the day totally fine. But you're panicking like fuck, I need to go do this, do that, and I'm thinking, George, you don't need to go and do that, mate. You can get it done throughout the whole entire day. But yeah, I'm waking up at 8. But in all honesty, mate, like with the prep, I love the routine of you know, like you said, getting shit done before people even woken up. Like, I love the fact that I used to go and do cardio, sweat my bollocks off, come out, and the fresh air, the sun was glazing in my eyes. I was like, yeah, this is going to be a good day. And now I'm to the point where, you know, I can't get up at 6:30, 7. I need sleep. I need to recover because I know if I get up, like this morning I got up at 7, sorry. I felt fucking dreadful. Even though I got like 7, 8 hours sleep, I felt awful.
Yeah.
Because I need, like, now I'm in a gaining phase. I just need that sleep.
Yeah. Same.
Whereas in a prep, I can kind of get away. I was like, if I woke up like half an hour, 45 minutes before my alarm, I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to get up.
Yeah.
Because I know that I'm not going to go to sleep. But if I see the time and it's like 5:30, I'm like, fuck, I'm going back to sleep. I'm going to try and stay into bed to a particular time.
Yeah.
I'm very similar with that. But no, I found as I've got further away from prep, my sleep has been getting up later and later.
Yeah,
and
that's exactly what happened to me. I think I tried to hold on to it because I love that routine. I tried to hold on to it for ages. I did like I still kept in like my morning treadmill walks, and something that you've done is like you've kept in your walk, and I think that's really, really good. Obviously, you have the doggo to walk and things like that, which is great. And I think when Barney's big enough to be able to be outside and walking, that will convince me to sort of get that routine going. And I'm looking forward to that. I mean, it's crazy that, you know, we're saying that, you know, get up at 8 and you feel lazy. I know I've worked with clients that get up at like fucking 10, 11 and like a lot of like I'm sure you've been friends with people in the university lifestyle which get up like halfway through the day and then work until 1 a.m. in the morning and just do that every day. I don't know how they do it and how they do that. It's just crazy.
That was like me in my first year at uni. I used to go to bed like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, wake up at like 2 in the afternoon. That was only my first year, but I couldn't do that now. It made me feel like terrible. I woke up at 2 o'clock and I was like, the day's pretty much right, especially in the winter time now when it's, you know, the sun's going down by like 2 o'clock already. And you're thinking, it's the end of the day, fuck it. You know, I'll just, you know, this day's ended anyway, so I've just got to do fuck all. I've got to have routine, and it's just so unhealthy. So unhealthy. But no, I do have obviously still have the routine with taking the dog and stuff like that. I always do that every single morning, first thing. I'll do work for half an hour, 45 minutes or an hour, how long it takes me. And I'll always make sure I take the dog for a walk every day.
Okay.
That's a big game changer for me.
So you just clear out your initial bits of work that sort of come in late at night and stuff, and then you go for the walk. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't, because there's nothing worse for me than like going on a walk and knowing I have to go back and do my work. Because what I do at the moment, my routine is get up, do my check-ins, take the dog for a walk, make my pre-workout. If I need to do another check-in after eating my pre-workout, I will do. Then I'll
Yeah.
go to the gym. But I like to kind of almost get my work done in the morning first thing, take the dog for a walk, then it's my time. Then when I'm done after the gym, I can respond to check-ins and stuff like that, because there's nothing worse than you getting a message whilst you're training and they're trying to need advice and stuff like that. You're thinking, fuck, I'm trying to train him, mate, and you're wanting all this advice. I just try and like to get that all out of the way and just kind of focus those 3-4 hours to myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's interesting. How have you found?
It's hard to do.
How have you found like consistently training relatively early? Do you now really like it? And you feel like it's good?
That was the biggest game changer towards my sleep.
Yeah.
My sleep is the best it's ever been. Keeping my training as far away as possible from my
Bedtime.
from my training. Yeah, bedtime. Sorry. And it allows me to, for example, if I'm going to have a pre-workout or any caffeine, I'll have it, like midday. And by the time I go to bed, it's pretty much out my system, which is quite nice. And I can just wind down throughout the night sort of thing. And that's been my biggest game changer, because when I used to train, I used to train about 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, and I'd get home and me trying to fall asleep wouldn't be good. But that's been my biggest change. I'm trying to see if I can fit in like 2 meals, because what I do is I have 1 meal before I train. But now I'm trying to see if I can actually fit a meal in at like 7. I don't really like eating too early. I don't know why. Like I wake up, I'm starving hungry, but I refuse to eat till about 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, same.
And then I'll have 1 meal. But I'm trying to see if I can actually get 2 meals in before I train and see whether I feel a little bit more better.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting to a point now where I've had 1 meal and it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm fucking starving. And I just don't want to be backloading too many calories towards the end of the day. I just want to be going to bed quite settled and not having to worry about having like 2 meals in a space of like 3 hours, which for me, I just
you shoot
hate
yourself
doing.
in the foot with sleep after that, because you just start
Yeah.
going to bed with a full stomach, and that you may as well have trained later. So I think 2 meals would be good pre-training. Like you could eat it, even if you ate at 8 and then ate again at 11 or something like that. That would still work pretty well. 8, even 8 and half 10, still work all right, even if the meal at 8 was like fairly light on your stomach. But yeah, I tend to train at the moment at like sort of 1, 2-ish. But I'm in a bit of a way at the moment where I like to like get a certain amount of work done pre-training, so that when I get back, I know that I've got not much to do, because I kind of like the feeling of not having much to do when I get back. But I think when I prep, that'll soon change to the routine that I ran during prep, which was basically, if you check in after the point at which I've gone to the gym, I'll just get back to you tomorrow. And then that whole routine of waking up early becomes massively beneficial, because I've got work from the previous night to do straight away. So I wake up and I have immediate check-ins that needed to be responded to last night, and I just get at them all in the morning. So I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, knock them all down, take Barney out, then do a couple of the ones that came in on that day, and the ones that come in after training, cool. You'll just get used to having them, come the next morning, which in the grand scheme of things, unless someone's got an immediately urgent question, it's not a problem. They're only going to wait an extra 12 hours to see their changes. By the time they're up in the morning, they'll have their feedback in their WhatsApp anyway. So, that's the way.
That was the same as me.
Yeah.
On prep. I had a cut off of like, I said to my client, look, you send it after 3:30 or 3 o'clock, then you'll get it back tomorrow. But you send it before, I'll make sure I'll get it back to you on that day. And most people respond to that quite well and got it over to me first thing in the morning, which is, or the night before, which is always handy. Instead of kind of sending it over like 10 and expecting feedback at 10 o'clock at night, I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes, at first I was like that. I was like, right, when I used to get feedback, I'm like, right, I'm going to respond straight away. I was just thinking, no, George, I'm not going to do that. Like, they send it over at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I remember in Birmingham you were doing like feedbacks at like fucking 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't know why. Become a lot more like, not harsh, but a lot more, because you have to stand your own ground. Like, if someone sends in their check-in late.
Professionalism, mate.
Yeah. I can't, like, with clients, like if they tell me the check-ins are going to be late, that's fine. As long as you tell me,
Yeah.
I've no issues at all. But if you just say you're going to check in on Wednesday, but you send it to me on Friday, then I can't change my schedule around so you can get your feedback to you, because other people are checking in on time.
Yeah.
It's your responsibility for me as a
I think
client.
the rule should always be, if you don't check in on your check-in day and you don't let the coach know, you go bottom to the list on the day that you have now checked in, because all the clients that check in on their right day deserve the normal length of sort of feedback, sort of length in terms of getting back to them. And then the person that's checked in randomly on an extra day and hasn't told you why just goes to the bottom of the list, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
But unless it's very urgent, it's a prep and there's a legitimate reason, and that's the way that things should work.
For sure.
So yeah, should we
want to
cover
answer
some
some
questions?
questions? Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, we should. All right. I think we're almost at an hour anyway, but we'll just keep going for a little bit.
Have we? Christ.
Potentially.
Let's try.
My inbox is just absolutely like, it's on cataclysmic levels of heart faces and inboxes about dogs.
Yeah, so far I've got 24 messages I haven't read.
Oh, mate.
Oh, God.
Bad. It's bad news, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, fuck, I was on it then. So, question number 1 is Christmas present for the missus. Daddy don't watch these, does she? Or does she?
She is downstairs. I'm not sure whether she can hear me. I don't think she'll watch this. But so we're not allowed to get each other's holidays. So that's a definite off the cards, because obviously I'm prepping next year. So usually what we do is we get like each other like little bits, and then I like last year I got her the trip to Vienna. So I think I got like some little like clothes and bits, like leggings and things like that, like nice leggings that like 50 quid each kind of thing, that she wouldn't usually buy unless she really wanted a pair. So she really likes like the Alpha Elite ones and the Rider Wear ones. So probably something like that. And then I don't know, really, to be honest, like, because we're at a point now where, you know, if you really want something, you just sort of like go out and get it yourself. I know that seems a bit sad, but we're at an age where, you know, and luckily a level of income where, you know, you can sort of, if you really would like something, you just get it yourself. Like recently, like with my, you know, iMac, I could have said to her, could you get me an iMac? But the thing is, it's also like a very fucking expensive gift.
Yeah.
It's a bit greedy. So I'd rather just like, I sort of said to myself that this was my Christmas gift to me. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like, you know, little bits. And I think also it's like, you know, when it's like that and people can sort of get their own gifts, just, it's like being thoughtful. So like, even if it's a little thing that's not very expensive, it's very thoughtful, and it shows that you've like actually thought about it, and that's important. So yeah, what about you, mate?
Well, my girlfriend's Muslim, so she don't celebrate Christmas, so it's cheap and cheerful for me.
Fucking hell.
I love it. So I dated her. No, I'm joking. If I had to get her a present, I don't know. Fuck. I haven't actually. What did I get for a birthday? Oh, Christ.
Hang at the bottom.
I don't know. I bought a Christmas present. She got me Vans last year because I needed a pair of Vans. So we're all right like that. Like, we don't really, it's just the little things. She appreciates the little things more than, you know, if I spent thousands and thousands on her, she probably wouldn't be like a bunch of flowers I get her sometimes. She just really appreciates that.
Yeah, it's just a thought, you know?
Yeah.
But if I spent a lot of money on Danny, like, she wouldn't be happy with me. So she'd be like, why the hell have you done this?
I've got so many questions about thoughts on the election results.
Well,
you got any thoughts?
It's not really hard to understand why it's gone that way, is it? Because, like, Danny was saying this in the car to me, like, the fact is, a lot of the people that do vote are the people that have very strong attachments to the statements that these parties are putting out. So like, you know, the strong statement of Brexit, the strong statement of the NHS privatization, etc. It's like, that's why a lot of these people vote. And like you said in your video, the area you're in, surrounded by old people that are very sort of like, driven towards those principles, like get them out kind of thing.
It's such like that.
They're all for that. And obviously, like, I think the oldest, I wouldn't mind seeing what like percentage of young people voted versus percentage of like, over 40 or over 50. I almost guarantee that like the over 50 bunch would be a higher percentage than the sort of 20. What is it? Is it 21 you can vote?
I think so. I think so. It might be a little bit younger, because I think I'm not sure actually. When did we vote for Brexit? Because I
don't remember, mate.
I don't know. Fuck knows. But yeah,
I
don't have many thoughts on it.
Comment saying you're fucking wrong.
I've got a fair few, to be fair.
You just keep going your end. I can bring mine up in a bit, but I daren't because I'll just get distracted by DMs.
Upper limit body fat percentage during a bulk, male and female.
Well, we know that you're not going to ever really measure body fat percentage that accurately. So it's more so going like by visual and also by the goal. So like, let's say, so for example, like Grace, one of my clients, she's obviously just competed this year. Her next goal is to step on stage in 2021. So now we know her stage weight, then you just got to work between her stage weight and what's a realistic sort of place for her to really perform well. Stay at that sort of hover between, place to perform well, and then, intermittently diet to get a little bit leaner and then resensitize and push back up again. And then obviously set up her prep for the year after. So she can't get too heavy because then she won't be able to prep effectively in 2021. So, and also, for like visually, it's like for males, it tends to be when, we're starting to see like, body fat accrue in areas that it just looks like really significant body fat is starting to accrue. Like, for some females and males, it can be sort of the lower back and the love handles area. It could be the midsection, the abdominals, where you can really sort of start to grab body fat and it starts to feel like very sort of significant. Don't assess this when you're still sort of like in that poor body image state that you are sort of post diet or post prep, because you'll start to think that everything's significant when it really isn't. But I think if you're talking like true percentages and you're like measuring yourself on a DEXA or something, then maybe females like 20% and maybe males 15, 16 something percent realistically. And that's probably an average guess. If you're wanting a percentage, you'd probably agree with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I wouldn't really go off percentages myself because, like, we've had DEXA scans and I was like, 12%, something like that? I can't remember. I can't remember what I was now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I go more of a visual look for myself, and depending on what the goal, like you mentioned, like for yourself, you don't want to be doing a 50-pound prep.
No.
Where you don't want to be doing that. So it depends on where you are, what is the goal, and just visually, like you mentioned, yeah, I agree with everything you said. I don't really have much else to add to that.
Cool.
Where am I at?
I've got a good question here, actually. So it's from L. Wallard NBB. Let's see if he's actually got a name. Oh, I can't see. Hold on, I can see. Oh, no, I can't see. So yeah, L. Wallard. If you could spend the day as any celebrity or athlete, who would it be and why?
Who would you go for?
I know. I'd spend the day, and it would have to be like the day of the, I don't know, maybe it'd be the British Grand Prix or something like Abu Dhabi or something like that. But I'd spend the day as Lewis Hamilton.
I was thinking that, you know.
I just want to see. I just want to see how much of a fucking boss it feels like to be him.
I was going to say that, believe it or not, or Anthony Joshua. I was going to say Anthony Joshua because one, he's good looking, he can fight, he's lovable, he get like so much money, and just knocking someone out would be great.
Yeah,
that'd probably be Anthony Joshua.
Yeah. And then actually, like, I think I've got to say this as well, but I wouldn't mind spending the day as JP.
Yeah.
I'd just fucking do everything. I think I'd row, I'd deadlift, I'd shoulder press. Oh, imagine shoulder pressing. I'd just like boom.
Yeah. I'd just do a day of 1RMs.
Yeah, I'd just do a whole day of 1RM.
How much can a barbell row with one rep?
I'd barbell row for a double, shoulder press for a triple. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Effectiveness of supersets to hit different muscles. It's not really. I don't really know how to answer that. Effectiveness of supersets to hit different muscles.
Well, they're effective to hit different muscles because you can use different exercises.
Christ.
Use superset some stuff to target different muscles. Yes, correct. If you didn't, from Hamza, if you didn't not compete, what weight would you both stay at?
What weight?
Yeah. What body weight?
I'd probably be.
What, like?
I'd probably be around
context, like right now.
I'd probably be right. To be fair, right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm not to the point where I'm too fat. Not to the point where I'm too lean. I'm in a position where I feel quite healthy. I can do day-to-day tasks quite comfortably.
Sure.
I'm still quite fit. I still can batter the Stairmaster quite well. I'd probably say right where I am right now, in all honesty.
Yeah. I think the important thing is also to mention that you'd want to maybe stay at where you are right now, but without all the prep fatigue. Because I think you'd look better right now on like the way down, or if you'd held this weight for a long time, than you'd look right now at this weight, because you've still like got prep fatigue and the weird body weight distribution and things like that. So I'd be the same, because when I was like the weight that I'd say on the way back up, I looked really shit. But when I was on the way down, I looked all right. So I'd say around about 165, 166, which is literally where you are, isn't it? So I'd say about there. So it's about sort of 15 to 20 pounds above my stage weight. I think I'd feel good enough in the gym to be pretty strong. Not crazy strong, but pretty strong. And aesthetically, I'd be really happy looking at myself every day. Whereas right now, I'm like, fuck me. Some days I wake up, if I've had a bit too much sodium, I look like an absolute cloud. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, do I really have to face the music today with this? There's worse things in life that can happen than that.
Like, that was one of that's led to me asking you a question about, like, obviously you've pushed up to 190, 195. What have you noticed since pushing? Because I remember you saying like a year ago or so, like you wouldn't go up to that point.
Well, I was wrong.
What does it feel like? So what is it like for you right now? Like, what's different about being 190, 195 compared to when you was, let's say, 170, 175?
Sure. So the general day-to-day sort of sluggishness and feelings of like this body weight is not nice to carry, quite prevalent. So not that I'm out of breath all the time or anything like that, but I just feel like not as much of an efficient human as I do at like 170, or like, good sort of 20 pounds. When I came down to see you and I was in that mini car, I felt really, really good then. Besides the fact that I was on quite low calories, if I was on like normal calories, like maintenance calories at that body weight, I'd feel mint. Still pretty strong, like decently strong, like jawline there, like just look decent, feel decent. And I like find myself feeling quite sleepy during the day, especially after eating. Like I feel quite sleepy. I feel having to push the food quite significantly. I feel quite nauseous, not crazily so, but sometimes, like last night when I went to bed, like I'd ate quite a big meal before bed. It's a bad option. Like one of the biggest things you can do when you're at this stage is to eat quite a low volume meal pre-bed. Like the best thing to be eating is something like granola, because it just doesn't sit in your stomach. But I had a higher volume meal, not like oats or anything, but I think it was a wrap and some rice and some beef. And like, mate, I felt so sick. I felt really, really fucking sick. And it's just like, I can tell that the food's just not being accepted well by my body. This is only like the last sort of month or so, by the way, because I wouldn't have pushed it for this long if I'd felt like this for that long. But I know half of this, I need to let the muscle almost like marinate for a little bit. I can't just drop into a deficit. I'm a big fan of like holding a body weight and letting the muscle sort of like I say, like marinate, sort of like come on, because you when you get to a body weight, you don't suddenly have all the muscle that you should have at that weight. You almost got to like earn the body weight a little bit more, and obviously you've still got like lots of stored body fat to be used as energy towards that muscle gain process anyway. So yeah, you're not maybe as efficient as you would be in a true surplus. But right now, I don't need to gain any more weight, so hovering is the best option. But yeah, like a little bit more nauseous, and then a little bit more nauseous in the mornings when I wake up. Sometimes I feel a little bit sick. And I saw something Daniel Park put up the other day. Like someone tagged him in something, and he was like, "Oh, you better get used to like having your head over the toilet after every meal." And I was like, "Fuck me, is that really how you felt?" Because like I can understand probably how he felt now. Because if I feel like relatively sick at this weight, and I'm pushing a decent amount of food, I can't imagine how bad he felt. He must have felt like he was going to spew up every meal, because your body starts to just say, nah, no thanks. I'm just looking forward to the efficiency of my body returning a little bit when I get into a deficit. I think Steve Hall's been suffering quite a bit of nausea as well. I think it's a bit more deep rooted for him, unfortunately, but I think he's been struggling with quite a lot of nauseous symptoms, and he's been pushing for a while as well. So I think it just kind of comes as part of the process to a degree.
I've noticed that when I get to, especially this was when I was at uni, when I used to push up like 184, 185, which is a heavy fucking weight for me. That was at the time. My digestion would just go to absolute shit.
My digestion.
Like, everything I used to eat would just go straight through me in half an hour time.
Yeah,
and it was just
not quite that bad, but
I was really bad.
Better the next time you get there. I'm pretty sure it will be. Because how many like good tactics were you doing for digestion at that point? Like, were you chewing your food really well? Were you making good food options?
What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to do a food challenge. Not a food challenge, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a full day of eating, but I'm going to eat my university diet. And I watched one of my videos the other day. First thing in the morning, protein powder, oats, banana, peanut butter, 2 eggs, blend it, drink it. I used to have that post workout as well.
Oh,
and I was like,
makes me want to be sick, mate.
I used to make protein pancakes out of it as well. Awful.
And just shit it out straight away.
Literally, I'll be on the toilet about 5 minutes after that. It'd be awful, horrendous.
Oh no, that's not good, man. Malabsorption, 101.
And I used to talk about post-workout, getting the calories in you. The calories was I was like doing a Nathan Beck and having a fat scoop of peanut butter post-workout.
Oh, so fucking pointless.
Yeah, those are the days. But yeah, my digestion used to go absolutely just terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. Mine's not woeful, but it's not the best for sure.
Okay, well, I've got one more. So,
okay,
slowly reverse dieting or increase calories 200 to 500 surplus immediately. Lean bulk, no fat.
Lean bulk, no fat.
Lean bulk, no fat.
Lean bulk, no fat. So, first of all, you're going to be the first human on earth to be able to gain muscle tissue at the cost of no body fat. Like, to be able to be in a position to add new muscle tissue, you must admit that you're going to gain some body fat. Like you can minimize the body fat you gain, of course, but you're not going to be able to gain none.
Yeah.
200 calories. Where's he coming from with this like reverse diet? Is he coming from like? Did he say where he's coming from? Did he say he was coming from a show or a prep? Or
No, I'm guessing it's just from a dieting phase, something like that. Should we reverse or should we just bump the calories up?
It depends how fast you want to get to the goal. Like if you actually want to get to the goal of gaining new muscle and being able to recover well and progressing your lifts efficiently, then raise your calories faster than 200 because you've just been in a deficit. 200 calories is most likely not going to put you in even maintenance. So all you're doing is just, this is why when people add in like 25 carb or a fucking rice cake a day to the diet in the reverse, it's like, this is magical. Like I'm adding food and I'm not gaining weight. I'm like, no shit. You're just bridging the gap between what was a deficit to now maintenance and then to a surplus. So you want to like, if you want to gain muscle, then you've got to get into the environment to do so. So get your calories up to at least maintenance or perceived maintenance. You probably won't even gain weight. Well, you won't gain weight on that if it is true maintenance because you don't have the caloric equation. You don't have the energy balance to do so. And you probably drop off some water weight from the stress that you had through the lower calorie phase anyway. You can sort of add from there, and that's a relatively foolproof way to do it. And usually you can add probably anywhere between 800 and 1,000 calories and be able to get away with it. So 200 calories, if you did that every week, waste a month before you even start fucking gaining.
Yeah.
When you wasted a month, that's a long time. It's a long time to waste. I see that happen quite a lot. I'm like, I think a lot of the time when you do a mini diet, and I've even had this issue before, when you do a mini diet, you tend to get attached to being a little leaner and you like the way that you look and you add food very gradually and your weight stays similar and you're like, this is a win. When in reality, is it a win? Is it a win? Because, are you really maximizing your next stage to add more muscle? Or are you just sort of hovering around a body composition that's favorable for the, for the gram or for your own sort of satisfaction? It's hard though, and I understand it's hard. I didn't when I sort of finished the mini diet this year, I didn't want to push to 190 again, but I did.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I've got nothing really to add to that. I think you're spot on with it.
Cool.
So I've been in that situation as well where I've fluffed about by adding like 25 grams of carbs, and the body weight just keeps dropping, and you just keep adding more, keeps dropping, adding more, and you just think, fuck it, you know what? Let's just add a ridiculous, not a ridiculous amount, but let's add just more instead of just 25 grams, and bam, the body weight goes up. And I think, fuck, we should have just done that in the first place.
How do you think you'd have handled post show if you'd have not had like myself in your corner? Do you think you'd have? Do you think you'd have done like a really slow, try to do it really slow, or and not ended up gaining enough and been restrictive on social events, or do you think you'd have been a little bit too much overboard? Like, let's say you didn't have any accountability, like you had no coach and you didn't have the following that you have on your social media. Do you think you'd have been more inclined to go really hard and gain a little bit too much? Like, what do you think would have happened?
I don't think so. I think I would have stayed probably relatively lean.
Too lean.
Because I'd have been too lean still, because I got to a point of where I was so lean for I don't even know how many weeks. Like I was had a real shredded glutes for quite a long time, and I know when I finished prep, I didn't want to let that go.
Yeah.
Almost, and that's probably what I would have done. Is I probably would have just pissed around by eating more, then doing a shit ton of steps, shit ton of cardio to kind of balance it out. That's typical George style. Yeah. And then I'll get bored of it and go, fuck it, let's just start gaining weight.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done, in total honesty. I would have gained, because I'm not, luckily, I've never been that type of person where I've, post dieting or post prep, I gain a ridiculous amount. I'm not that type of person to do that, because I'm quite strong with that type of stuff. Like my willpower is quite strong. Sure. And I won't just go off the rails and gain 40 pounds within a couple of weeks. That's not me. I don't do that. Especially when I've worked really hard to get to where I was. And you don't want to blow it, do you? To a certain degree. But yeah, that's what I would have probably done.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I would have expected, to be honest. I'm not too
Mm.
surprised by that one. Uh,
Shock.
but yeah, cool. I think we'll
Yeah.
pretty much leave it there. I think we've been recording for must been at least an hour. We don't really know the time on these things because you can't see. We can't see how long, but I think it's been over an hour. So we'll leave it here for this week. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you to our sponsors. We don't have any at the moment. Yeah, so if anyone feels like sponsoring the podcast,
Yeah.
that's absolutely fine. I mean, you can be little or large. We'll be happy to take you on and spread some good word of good companies if anyone wants to get in. So if you have anyone and we use their products, then send them our way. Especially blue light blocker companies.
Yeah, because don't want these wonky fucking things, cheap shit.
All right then. Cool, guys. Speak to you in the next one. See you in a bit.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.